Alright, I'm back with another Starfield video here on the day of actual launch. It's kind of wild to think that this is when the game officially comes out, when I had it for 2 weeks, and then I had it for 5 days of early access, or whatever it was. And I have 136 hours into Starfield. Let's say that like 15 of that is menus and things that don't really count, so 120 hours. Essentially when I've had any free time in between writing and filming videos and hanging out with my family, including my son, who I promise I am not neglecting, I have been playing Starfield. And I thought I would just sort of talk about why I've invested this much, and also where 120 hours gets you in playing this game, and why I still feel like I am not done, even at this point. Okay, so I am in New Game Plus 2, meaning this is my third playthrough. I am level 88. I have many skill points. I have a bunch of max categories: ballistics, dueling, pistols, rifles, armor penetration, ballistics, boost pack, piloting, security, targeting, energy, engines, shield, automated weapon systems, health regen, normal health, weightlifting, fitness. You get it. I'm kind of a walking tank, and one of the things I have changed this far into the game is I've put the game on hard. Normally, I just play games on normal, because that is what I feel most people will play the game at. I am not Mr. like, I need to crazily, you know, play everything on insane mode or very hard or whatever. I like playing a game on normal, because that seems like the most normal way to experience it, and like, I don't need to die a million times to prove some sort of point. But I'm on hard now, and I am still blowing through hard pretty easily. There is a very hard, which maybe I will upgrade to next, but the builds I have, the gear I have in this New Game Plus version is very substantial, and I am not really having trouble with pretty much anything in hard mode. You do get, I think you get a little more XP, and you definitely get more money from quest completion, so there are some benefits here. I have 2 ships that are awesome. I have a Crimson Fleet ship that I stole from the surface. I have a Ecliptic ship that I also stole from the surface. I am using triple auto cannons on the main Ecliptic ship that I use, which you sort of just fly around enemies and they die because these auto cannons just sort of shred them. These are all Class C ships. This Ecliptic one has a 30 light-year jump drive capacity, which is enough to get you essentially anywhere. So, and it also has 3,200 cargo space. So, yeah, everything's looking pretty good for this. As I've said before, I do recommend getting a Class C pilot's license and then just stealing shit. Most of the ships I've gotten have just like landed on the surface randomly. So anytime a ship lands, you kind of want to go investigate it. If you are not a pirate, you leave the normal ships alone. If you are a pirate, you can take all of them. But I have stolen pirate ships, kill the crew, take off, register the ship, and you are good to go. So I've had 2 amazing ships that way. I am starting to farm up, you know, a new set of gear here, which is probably not as much as my first playthrough. My first playthrough, I am about where I am now in this current playthrough. I did every major quest, every side quest I could find, and I got to the point where I would probably need to start Googling where the rest of the quests are in order to keep doing them, which I cannot do in the review period, obviously. Here I can do that now, but in the middle there was this New Game Plus 1 where I essentially only rushed the Crimson Fleet SysDef quest because I wanted to see the other side of that, what happened if I became a pirate. Unfortunately, that quest broke right at the very end and prevented me from going full pirate and experience the end of that. That is the worst bug I have ever gotten in this game. I died as I was escaping a exploding ship right as I was going in the hangar, or in the airlock to my own ship. this somehow broke the quest and I could not finish it, so I'm like, screw it, I'm going to New Game Plus. I am done with the whole New Game Plus loop thing. Well, without going into details, there are crazy things that can happen at the beginning of New Game Pluses in the future, but most of the stuff comes with really any New Game Plus playthrough. And as I've talked about before, it's cool, it's just not something I would necessarily think is worth rushing the main quest or, you know, killing yourself to get to New Game Plus. So I am staying here. I am going to do all the quests I can. I'm going to get all the levels I can. I'm going to explore planets, survey planets, all of that stuff. That is my current plan here. And I still have quests I have not done. One of the most surprising things is, you know, 130 hours in here, I am still seeing new stuff. I have still found quests that I never experienced before. I am landing on essentially random planets and discovering just absolutely gorgeous landscapes and very wild looking creatures. This is not necessarily a quest objective or anything like that, but I still think it is a very important part of the game. Some of my favorite moments have been discovering a new planet that is just unlike anything I've ever seen before, and I've taken a lot of screenshots of these, but I really do enjoy that aspect of the game, which is literally just exploration, and then taking screenshots as, you know, kind of memorabilia of your time spent there. Some of these I build bases on, or at least, you know, warp points so I can get back to them, and I've had a good time doing that. I'm still running into just totally random things I've never seen before. I found a fallen outpost tower or something, collapsed survey tower or something like that. Inside was a guy scavenging. He gave me a bunch of shit for being there. He said that this was his space, and I was given the option of either saying, yes sir, of course sir, I will leave immediately, or attacking him, so he's dead, and I scavenged that place, which there was not really anything good in there. But just stuff like that I just have not seen before. I'm still finding new weapons, I'm still finding new outfits, I'm still finding pretty much any category of thing you can imagine in this game. Even after all this time, I'm still finding new stuff. So I am continuing to do that. I am continuing to level. I have goals in terms of where I kind of want to get to. In addition to, you know, weapons and ship perks, I want to start going down the road of exploration, which is the science tree. So weapon engineering, spacesuit engineering, planet surveying, stuff like that. That is something that I want to kind of move down that tree over time, and I can, because leveling is infinite in this game, and while it does get slower over time, you keep finding higher and higher level enemies that, you know, you're getting 150, 200 XP a kill, which is as much as some entire quests give you. So that's something that is definitely viable to do, and just there is no cap here, which is, I think, true of most Bethesda games, but especially here, there's so much you want to invest in that you always feel like there's something you can keep building toward. As I said, I'm in hard mode. I may have to upgrade to very hard mode because I am just continually blitzing through most things. I do not remember the last time I have died in this game at all, and I do not even have like max legendary gear in every slot. I'm wearing a green spacesuit now that I have just because it has good resistances, a Tracker's Alliance suit. Pretty heavy, but you know. And I'm still enjoying myself. It is slowing down a bit, because once you get to a certain point, there's just, it turns into kind of pure exploration. Like, go to the cities, talk to all the people, fly to all the systems, survey all the planets, see if there's anything interesting you've missed. And almost certainly there will be, because this game is massive, and there's always something new to discover, even if eventually you start discovering things at a slower pace. I am seeing many people kind of experience the same thing here, where the more you invest in this game, the better it becomes. I wrote an article previously about how I believe they need to buff the early hours of this game, including things like carrying capacity and oxygen, and how terrible your first ship is. I think a lot of people are bouncing off because of that, but I think with some minor tweaks, people could get past that easier. And once you get a certain ways into this game, I think you are going to really enjoy it. if you have ever enjoyed any Bethesda game or have some sort of grand fantasy about, you know, space exploration in general, because I would say, even above No Man's Sky and its infinite planets, that this is the best game in that genre in terms of exploring a system. You know, it has 1,000 planets and moons, and as much as I love No Man's Sky, I have not come anywhere close to visiting 1,000 planets and moons in that game. So you know, it being infinitely procedural does not really have a benefit there. Nor do I think it is necessary to do the whole like fly into a planet's atmosphere thing, which has become a big point of controversy because you cannot do that in Starfield. It is very cool tech. I think it is very cool tech, certainly, but I would prefer to just warp to different parts of planets or different systems rather than doing a 3 to 5 minute sequence of accelerating directly into a planet in a space sim. I get it, that would be more immersive, but in an action RPG like this, I believe you want to take some shortcuts, and also the technical benefits of doing that and not forcing Bethesda to do this in-atmosphere planet creation thing is probably worth what you're giving up. So I am very excited to see the grand total of the reception to this when it actually launches here. It was already doing very well on Steam before this. It was getting, I don't know, 220, 250 something concurrent players with the $100 edition of the game, and now it is switching to the Game Pass edition on Xbox, which is free, and then the Steam edition, which you do have to buy. But I am certainly very curious to see how it is received once that launches. It has an 86 on Metacritic for Xbox and 88 for PC. That is on par with PlayStation's Horizon games, Ghost of Tsushima. It is not God of War or The Last of Us. It is not Baldur's Gate 3. It is not Tears of the Kingdom. My philosophy here is like, Starfield is not going to win Game of the Year. If we're considering Game of the Year, like the Game Awards, DICE Awards, things like that, Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom will win Game of the Year. This will be many people's individual Game of the Year. For individual players who really attach themselves to this game. I have seen some people, including the former director of God of War, who generally I find quite annoying, say that this is one of his top 3 games of all time. And while I will not say that necessarily at this point, it is easy for me to see that this is potentially my personal Game of the Year, as much as I realize that, you know, there are arguments absolutely to be made for Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom, which may be empirically more innovative, you know, quality, rich games in certain aspects. But for me and what I like, Starfield is really scratching that itch. I might have 30 hours, 40 hours into Baldur's Gate. But again, I have 130 hours into this, and it has not even launched until today. So something is really clicking with me here, and I hope something clicks with you too. I am genuinely surprised by how much I like this. And like, it's a mainline Bethesda game. You know, those are always pretty sticky, and you know, you think you're gonna like them, but I've connected with Starfield in a way that I think surpasses, at the very least, the Fallout games. Skyrim, Oblivion, maybe not so much, but it is very good, and I am very curious to see how the game evolves over time, what kind of content they do end up adding to it, and how the general reception is once this game is officially out, which is today. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will have more to say about the game as time goes on here. So talk to you later.